comes to making, what about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, starting to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be 10 years shorter. And the time you have often filled with health problems, shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, well, welcome to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score on June 25th. This is Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and joined here on the board, as always. Got a couple weeks stringing together, Harrison, us together. So, no weddings or anything like that going on, or what?
No, we're all good. Last week, I believe it was last week, right? Austin covered for you?
It was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago, Austin covered for me. But yeah, no, man, it's been great. These Sundays are awesome, and I don't get too lucky. I usually have to come in the afternoon if I'm not here in the morning. So it's not like I'm just taking the day off. But
well, we're waiting for the pictures. We're waiting for the post, and like you booted and suited and everything else. And all of a sudden, like the announcement, like, okay, the Harrison wedding party or whatever else, and a bunch of likes and everything. But no, always good to have you here. Got some great weather here. June 25th? Hard to believe.
Yeah, it's going by
last
fast.
Sunday in June already. And man, we were just, I guess we're in here talking. Summer's already just kind of rolling by, and pretty soon you're going to start seeing the safety lanes or whatever, the flashing lights. Yep. Like you got to go 25 through the school zones and everything else. But like I said, it's been great. We've gotten some decent weather. I know the rest of the country's gotten hit pretty hard with some of the heat. We're heading out next week, and by the way, just kind of promo, have Phil Maynard on. He's going to be a guest host for Bigger Than the Score. I'm going to get away a little bit and head out to Vegas and Houston, and I got the report in Houston. It was like 110, 112 out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
a little warmer.
Yeah, just a tad. I'm a huge Houston fan. So with Rockets and everything. So I don't know how much outdoor activity I'm going to be doing in regards to that. So yeah, just to know, be sure to tune in next week too, as not just next week, but every Sunday at 8 a.m. to Bigger Than the Score. Fitness Fanatics follows us from 9 to 11, but just a real great slate of just lineups here on the ticket, kind of as we go through the summer, some new podcasts, some new just individual shows from some of your favorites. And so definitely take a listen and just kind of, ease your summer. If it gets too hot outside, always just put some headphones on and just lay there, and you'll get your sports fix, among other things.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, these Sundays even earlier, you can start as early as 7 a.m. with Jay Foreman Inside the Huddle, and that'll carry you into Bigger Than the Score, obviously. But yeah, just a great lineup. And again, tickets are growing. Thanks to you guys listening. Wouldn't be growing if no one's listening. So it's a shout out to you guys. And again, if you want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, as well as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and Allo channel 951 for all Allo subscribers out there. But yeah, it's been an awesome week. Everything sports wise, and we're going to get into some more local stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, Nebraska football, big week for them. Got a lot of recruits, a lot of in-state recruits as well.
Yeah.
And me and Jay were talking. I'm sure you're aware of Carter Nelson, but he might be the most highly touted 8-man football player I can remember.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things sometimes people discredit, just the opportunities. And I'm just not just in athletics, but just overall, when you think about talent, you've always talked about you came from a little bit of a smaller school, and
8-man across the street. We were 11, but we watched 8-man.
He made sure to say that right out. He just said it from his chest right there. 8-man was across the street, but we did 11.
So we're all the one act championships. So they got theirs.
Well, we got some people in store, the one act. They'll definitely appreciate that. But when you think think about just like people like Carter Nelson, I mean, there's talent across the state. And I mean, not just across the state, but just across the country. And I've always told people, like, oftentimes, I mean, I think Raiola just went to Georgia to high school
Right.
or whatever else. And, you know, fortunate he and family has the opportunity to do that, but not everybody does that. A lot of times, you know, I think about military. My dad was 25 years military, and you live where you're assigned and where you go. And so I think about that with companies, and I think about that with plants and jobs. Like, not everybody just travels because of their kid and their athletics. And so you're placed in the environment that you're placed in, and then you make the best of it, whatever that may be. And so, you know, Carter Nelson being recruited, I think you got the trifecta, was it from Bellevue West?
Yeah, I got a couple, Devon Hall or Devon Bell, excuse me, another Bellevue West kid. Obviously Kalen,
Yeah.
another Nebraska kid. We got, I'm missing a few more. This weekend was heavy
Yeah,
on
it
the
was-
Omaha in-state recruits. I should pull those up real quick. But
Well,
yeah,
and I think Jay talked about that as just like, you know, not the slow pay, you know, play on individuals of like, you know, there used to be a time like, man, okay, I'll just wait. This is the one that I want. This is the one that I want. I want to come here. And so that's always good to see. And I think if if a young person has talent, why wait? You know, why wait on that? And I don't mean just athletics, just in general. You know, and so, you know, we had a situation it's similar, but not similar, with some scholars who did something phenomenal. Javon was in here last year. JJ was in here last week. And, you know, I always say, like, you know, if a kid shows talent and shows ability, then why are we waiting until a certain point to give them the opportunities that they deserve? You don't have to be dead to have your name on a building. And so this young man was in a documentary. They did some phenomenal things. They got a full, you know, tuition opportunity at Doane University as a 7th grader and an 8th grader. And that was my pitch to those schools, is like, he's done more than most scholars and most adults have done in their life. But we're going to wait to say, continue to prove yourself, continue to prove yourself,
Right.
continue to prove yourself, where we'll offer other individuals, because of their potential, we'll give them stuff. You know, we'll give them opportunities. And that's what a lot of these scholars, they've proven some things athletically or whatever, but because of potential, future potential, like we just saw the NBA draft, because of future potential, you know, you're going to get millions and millions of dollars, but yet we hesitate to give somebody a scholarship academically because we want them to continue to, you know, to score on a test or whatever else. So, you know, can go on and on about that. But again, appreciative of Doane University and those other institutions that have kind of bucked the trend of like, man, if you did this in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, you want to live out your dream, we're going to make it an opportunity for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's Donovan Jones out of Omaha North. That was the player I was thinking of. But yeah, absolutely. Kind of, you said yourself, when a guy's proven, you know, I don't know how fair it is to keep poking and prodding them and like keep proving it. You know, eventually, once they've shown it, and especially obviously at a young age, you might want to see it a little more, but you can just kind of tell with some kids when they got it figured out already.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's gonna be things down the road. But we're talking about Eric Strickland and Cluster Johnson. They're trying to, like, you know, how do you identify the one being, you know, the big fish in the pond that obviously, and you can just tell early on, they just really stand out and they're doing things that everyone else isn't doing. And you don't need to kind of keep poking and prodding them. And like Jay said, don't slow play it, you know, in terms of recruiting. If you see a guy, don't keep him in your back pocket, you know, because someone else is going to offer them first. You're out the door. You're thinking they're an in-state kid. You got the edge on it. And then pretty soon they're playing for Iowa, you know, and you don't want to slow play like that. If you see it, you want to act on it and be behind them, support them, especially when talking education. If they're already at that level and then you get behind them and say, I believe in you and you are doing great things, let me get behind this instead of keep questioning you. You only know how that's just going to go farther.
Well, and I think a lot of times it just, you know, it serves as that catalyst, you know, when we talk about individuals, when you talk about, okay, first generation, or, you know, I don't know what that process looks like. It just says, okay, man, I know I can do this. And some of those things and some of those, I don't want to say barriers, because I hate saying barriers, but some of those challenges are taken out of the way. And so, you know, always a good opportunity. Congratulations to those scholars, you know, young men and young women. We also had a local, Carrie Limbach, I know, who played volleyball, know her family, became, you know, the Husker volleyball team had a great week or week and a half, so to speak, got a number of recruits. So the Lincoln Lutheran prospect, ended up verbally committing to the Huskers, and also just to those other area scholars. I know we focus a lot on just the Huskers and kind of area schools, but Nebraska Wesleyan, Concordia, like I said, Hastings. Nebraska's got a lot of tremendous small colleges.
Yeah, Wayne's a good one as well.
Wayne, we've had a number of individuals that were just recognized for perfect ACT scores, which I always will tell individuals, this is the deal. Man, you get up in those 30s in your ACT, 32, 33, 34, you're going wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sports, no sports, whatever else, like everybody will come a calling. And so it's always those books first. I didn't quite get there. My sister's an engineer, so she was one of those ones that was striving for that perfect ACT score. But, hands down, if you hit that 34 mark, you ain't paying for nothing ever. And so I just have to keep reiterating that to young people as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. Those scores, it's one of those things because it is super stressful. I remember the times. It's not gonna break you if you don't do as well as you want. Keep in mind, it's not gonna break you.
Without question.
But it'll set you up if you take it seriously and you do well. You make sure you get 8 hours. You do a little bit of studying, some prep. Because that's something I think it's definitely worth your time just to prep. Whatever you're taking the ACT, SAT, you don't have to go overkill. But I will say, growing up, the kids that did prep, they did better, and it's going to help them financially. It depends what your situation is, nonetheless. But it's definitely one of those things that it can really help you start that college career on whatever you want to get going on in life.
Well, I think you brought up a good point too. It does not define who you are by any means. I took mine after prom. Probably not highly suggestible for you to roll in there without your number 2 pencil. But that being said, so with that, a lot of good things else also going on. Hey, this is kind of a random rant. I sent this to you in a text yesterday, but I was in Kansas City yesterday. Went out there to grab some attire, and this ended up, I forgot I meant to bring in some jerky. Got some. I go down the market on Saturday mornings. I don't know if you've ever been to the River City Market. I think it's River City Market.
No, not in the mornings. No,
you got to on a Saturday. You got to go down there during the summer. It is packed. I mean, it's everything from you get cactus to Bentley. It's like our farmers market, but on steroids.
Okay.
And I mean, everything for those that are age appropriate. They just started giving samples on certain things, so you might have to Uber back and forth. I'm not gonna. I'll leave it at that. But great fruit, real reasonable. But it was kind of ironic. I get down there, I do all that, and then I'm driving, and I pass Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I was curious. I want to ask you about
there's a Chuck E. Cheese across from the embassy in Overland Park, and it said hiring. And first off, I know you're a little bit younger, just a little bit younger than me. All right. But have you ever been to Chuck E. Cheese?
No, never been, but I remember all the commercials and the ads. Even as a kid, it didn't.
You never went to Chuck E. Cheese. Okay. So
I was 8 and it looked sticky.
It was an adventure. Okay. It's just like Bonanza or whatever else and the other places. So they were hiring. I didn't realize Chuck E. Cheese was still open.
I didn't either.
And so I was like, okay, you know what? I wanted to go get an application. It wasn't quite open yet. What I wanted and bring it in and see what it is. But I was just the pizza was huge. Okay. And then the tokens, you were running around playing the same games or whatever else. And then the fact that you could make a business and your mascot was a giant rat. Like that is just, I mean, whoever does the marketing for that, hire them for the ticket. That is just absolutely a big furry rat. And the amount, I just kept thinking of like all the hands, and kids and everything. And so the random thought came to like, what are those things that are kind of either going away or not existent, but it's summertime that like are not really prevalent anymore? Those things. So I think about like slip and slides.
Yeah.
For me, it was like going to Dairy Queen and sports related. Like they give you the ice cream, the sundae, and a helmet. And you try to collect all the baseball teams, and you got mad because like whatever region you're in, you get the teams that like sucked. You have all these, and you're trying to trade them. Like I always wanted the Dodgers sundae.
Okay.
The Dodgers sundae. And so, what are those things for you?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Going back to my small town, it used to be every time, because it's a small town, population about 1,600. It was always like you'd see during the summer, especially just gangs of kids on bikes. Someone on the pegs.
You said the gangs of kids on bikes with like the spokes where they're driving through the neighborhood and like, get your kids inside, they're coming.
Yeah, we might get on the grass a little bit, but that's the worst we would ever do. But no, I went back there now, and it's just a different game. It's a lot of electric scooters going around, not a lot of pushing. It's I feel a little jealous. I'm a little envious. I was pedaling up those hills, and I go back there now, and they got electric scooters just flying up the road. So I'm not saying I wouldn't do it if I was their age,
Right.
but times have changed. That's for certain.
The bikes are funny because I remember just riding and you like have like a gang. Like you said, it was a gang.
Oh, yeah, there's like
it
10
was like
kids.
your gang and you're going, and then you had always like the 3 stragglers, like they were siblings that were trying. That was like your initiation.
Yeah.
So there was no beating up. It was just like, can you get up the hill? And then they get off the bike and they'd be like, they're like, you're riding up the hill because you're strong enough. You knew not to just like use all your steam right away. And then they get like halfway, get off their bike and they're pushing it up and then they knew the route so they could catch up with you.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. My other one was wiffle ball.
Oh, that's another good one.
Had you played that?
No, that's one we had.
Harrison, what is going on up there?
Man, we had a bunch of different games. Vice called it. We were playing like Sprout Ball and stuff like
Okay.
that. So we probably had some unique ones. I don't know if that's just small town. We're just doing things differently up there, but no, it was just great times. I remember the bikes. My dad would always call it uncertain chaos when they'd all get on the bikes and go, and it was just so funny. He'd be like, "Well, there it goes." He doesn't know where the chaos is going to happen, but yeah, just good times. But we do got a little bit of time here. And I want to go ahead and preview what we have coming forward before we throw it to break here.
Awesome. No, as always, like I said, I just tweeted, powerful show as always. Just, awesome time to have just like young people and educators kind of in this space.
Mhm.
And as we talked about a little bit earlier, just about different aspects and involvement. And so, start off and like I said, it's not the N, it's the R, Amari. Got that. There you go. She is a scholar over at Northwest High School and just a phenomenal talent. I'm excited for her to share just everything that she's involved in, the accomplishments she's had. I know she's going to be modest, so we're going to have to prod her a little bit, but came up, done up, ready to go. Has a phenomenal voice, but just an inner spirit about her that just once you get in this space, and you've already seen that, Harrison, will kind of just put your soul at an upper level. So excited to hear from her journey, and then continue things that she wants to accomplish as she goes forward. And maybe she'll tell us about it. She's looking at us when we talked about those bikes and and wiffle ball and everything else. She's like, ice cream and a helmet. And she's like, what about people that are lactose intolerant? They just ate it too. Okay. They went ahead and got their ice cream and their slushie from Dairy Queen. And then John Marquez, who is an educator. I don't want to limit him to one space, but a Hastings College graduate. So anyways, let's go to Hastings College. We're going to claim him. No, just in all honesty, Shadron State graduate, sorry. But as an educator at LPS, and in so many ways, more than that. I mean, he's a mentor. He's been a friend. He's somebody that I've gotten to know just in regards to things that we've done. And just really, when you talk about investing in young people, when you talk about relationships matter, he is that type of individual. He has uplifted others. He has taken, we've had some people from Northwest on here and talked about, the AD, but we've also had, other scholars where it's their first year and they've completed that, and how unique that is, but also some of the awesome parts, but also some of the challenges. And he'll speak to that. But through that, that has been, has brought his program that started with a handful of individuals to a group that is award-winning. And is going to be something to reckon with in this state moving forward. So, excited to have both of them on. Again, 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score. That's what this is about. And so looking forward to having a conversation with our guest after the break.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a great segment coming up ahead, and this is what I like to call the feel good hour. If you feel good about your educators, feel good about the youth, especially now. I feel like social media does a good job of bringing people down. This show makes it feel better. It makes it feel like the youth are in good hands and that the educators care. So nonetheless, we'll throw the break here. Bigger than the score. If you guys want to join the show, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and you can text in at 402-464-5685. We'll throw it to break here and see you on the other side.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Beat the heat and make 4th of July truly monumental at Generation V.
Generation V.
This weekend only, Generation V has incredible deals that'll blow you away. Stock up on select disposables as low as $10 and enjoy 25% off all pet products.
Generation V.
July 1st through 4th, experience monumental savings up to 33% off mods, e-liquid, Delta 8, and more. Generation V with 16 Nebraska locations and a new location at 27th and Superior. GenerationV.com. Vapes contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. Hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
BJ, did you ever get a chance to meet Project Sandman Thomas? Yeah.
He had 1 year where he just went off.
Tampa?
Yeah, he had 174 tackles.
Wow.
And 11 sacks in 1991. 7 forced fumbles.
That's why, like when I asked Terrell, who's the best linebackers? I don't know if I've ever heard Project Thomas come out of Terrell's mouth. It's always same guys. Jay Foreman, Levant David.
Very rude.
But again, if you don't watch the tape, you don't know how good they were.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
The sweet relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. For only $2.88 a day, LES helps power life's special moments and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
I thought that I was pregnant. I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is the educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter's just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Digital Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. You're here on Sunday, June 25th. Beautiful day outside, and Harris and I chopped it up a little bit, and it was funny. Our guests were looking at us. I'm going to have to go to Amari when she looked at us about the bikes and everything, and the day of bikes, Harrison. She was looking at you. She was like, I mean, we ride our bikes and everything, but and then she was like, I remember leaving people behind. It's the Dairy Queen helmets. I know that's what got you, but excited because I know, every week we bring in scholars And again, thankful to P for just allowing and providing this space, because this is truly, like Harrison said, kind of the feel-good hour, of the week. And if you get a chance, if you miss an episode, go to theticketfm.com. You can go back on Twitter, look at 93.7 The Ticket, scroll through. Aloe Fiber has been great on channel 951 and on Amazon to pick up previous episodes. But our episode today has got two individuals that I've gotten to know this year more, I guess, extensively, but have just played a huge role. And I just wanted to kind of have them share their stories. So welcome, Amari and John, and thank you for coming in the studio today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get right to it. Amari, just tell a little bit, people, who you are. Did you grow up in Lincoln? Where have you gone to school? Just tell us a little bit about, what people need to know about this phenomenal young woman that's sitting in front of us.
Yeah, so I'm Amari. I did not grow up in Lincoln. I grew up in a small town in Mississippi called Meridian. On that bike situation, I lived in a very closed neighborhood, so definitely after schools we were on our bike riding around that neighborhood. So I definitely had my little gang.
What were they called? If you had to call them?
I don't know. I don't know. I would call us the Sardine Bunch, because we had this game that I thought I created, and then I got here and everyone knows what the game was. But we would wait till after the street lights came on, because that was our rule, that we had to be in the house by the street lights.
You got some listeners feeling you on that right there now.
But we would wait till the street lights go off. Our parents would go to bed, or so we'd think they would go to bed, and then we'd go back out and we'd play sardines, which was kind of like hide and seek or whatever, but instead of it being one person hides and everyone goes to find them, with sardines it's one person hides, and if you find that person you hide with them until everyone has found the original hider. It was real fun, but I would call us the Sardine Bunch, because that was our game.
Awesome. I like that. We might have to try that here with the station.
Not a lot of hiding spots. Yeah. I don't know if we can get everyone in that closet back there.
So again, you talked about you were from a city. Where else? Just your journey, life journey, as far as schooling. Where's that taking you?
Well, I'm going into my senior year at Northwest. I don't know. I'm still deciding on what I want to do college-wise, because I'm for sure going to college. It's me not going to college is out of the picture. Going into my junior year, I was like, I want to be a lawyer. I'm going to school to study law. And then I took classes at SCC this year, and I'm just like, maybe not.
Okay.
But now I kind of want to study musical theater. So my options for college, I'm kind of having to rethink everything, because I wanted to go back down south, but of course the Midwest has amazing schools for musical theater, so I'm really rethinking stuff.
Awesome. We're going to come back to that, because I know that's played a large role in you and just in your involvements in high school. So I'm interested kind of to hear the history of why that's been so important. And then we've got John, who informed me from Shadron. So I want to make sure I give Shadron credit. But John is an educator at Lincoln Public Schools. And tell us a little bit, John, just where are you from? Have you always lived in Lincoln? Did you just go out to Shadron? Who's John Marquez?
Well, I am from way western Nebraska. So a lot of people in Nebraska think that Nebraska drops off around Grand Island or so. But you go 4 hours west of there, and I'm from Alliance, Nebraska.
All right.
A town of 9,000 or so. And then I went to Shadron State College on a trumpet scholarship. And I wanted to be a band director, and decided my senior year that I would really like to be a choral director, and then went out to Wyoming, taught in Wyoming for a couple years. And then I went to Hastings, Nebraska, and started the competitive show choir program at Hastings Senior High, and started them in on doing a musical every single year, because I realized that high school kids love to do things like show choir and musical, and concert choir is great. You need to have concert choir, but the kids want to do the music that they hear on the radio. They want to do the music that they relate to. And so I felt really excited to give the program there kind of a little bit of a facelift. And then I went to University of Nebraska Lincoln to work on my master's in choral conducting, and I got to direct the collegiate show choir of Big Red Singers for a couple of years.
Wow.
And so that was a ton of fun. And while I was doing Big Red Singers, Lincoln High needed someone to come over and be their show choir director. So I came over and was directing the collegiate show choir in town and then the show choir at Lincoln High. And Northwest opened up, and I knew that that's exactly where I needed to go, was to Northwest High School. From the very get-go, I just felt like something was speaking to me that that was going to be the high school that I got to start a program at and get kids excited through musical theater, through show choir, and get them involved in concert choir.
Well, and you talked a lot. Your journey has taken you a variety of different places. And so, as you think about that, first off, what was the first musical that you did at Hastings High?
Well, actually, back up a little bit. At Chadron High.
At Chadron? Okay, wow.
So I was directing the musicals at Chadron High while I was getting my degree at Chadron State College.
Okay.
They needed someone to come and do that. So my very first musical was Bye Bye Birdie. And it was not one that I selected. It was the director selected it, and then for some reason couldn't direct the show. And so the principal said, "Hey, I need you to come direct this musical. I heard you'd be pretty good at it. Will you do Bye Bye Birdie?" And I said, "Well, it goes up in 8 weeks. Yeah, I think we could do it."
Wow.
So it was pretty fun.
Well, talk a little bit about why Northwest. I mean, you've had some journeys as far as education across the state. Why Northwest? What did you see in an opportunity of a school that was getting ready to open? Didn't have an established program per se. Sometimes that's exciting, and sometimes for people that's a little bit scary. And then plus, you didn't know who you were going to get as scholars. I think sometimes when we think athletically, people are like, okay, I know this person's coming in, this person. Did you do stuff during the summer so you got to see who you were kind of getting, the potential, kind of the other challenges? Why Northwest?
I knew that Northwest would have amazing, incredible facilities. And I knew that you would want to have really wonderful productions at those facilities. And while I was going to University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I got to know more about Lincoln, and I got to know more about Lincoln High and North Star High School. And I knew that Northwest would kind of pull from both of those high schools, and the opportunity to go into a really diverse environment is exactly what I wanted to do as an educator. And so I was pumped and fired up to apply at Northwest. And then when I started seeing some of the cards fall into place, like who was going to be the leadership, who was going to be the department heads, and I saw all the cards stack up, I knew that that was going to be the place where I would want to thrive as a teacher. I saw that Mr. Cooper got hired, and I started following Mr. Cooper, and I thought, that is the school for me, to go to Northwest and promote diversity, to build this beautiful arts program, and be on that beautiful part of the town.
Awesome. And Mark, same thing. Why Northwest High School? You're getting ready. You said you're going to be a senior this year. You kind of entrenched in a school. You've got friends. You've got kind of a routine. Why uproot that and kind of change that?
Yeah, so before I transferred to Northwest, I was going to North Star, which was a great school. And then the band directors at Northwest were the orchestra director and the assistant band director at North Star. And I absolutely love Rob Salestein and Paul Kinney. Love those two. So I was like, they're leaving, so am I. I'm going over there.
It was like an NIL package. It's like, I'm transferring, putting my name in the portal. I'm out of here.
No, I love Albright over at North Star,
Yeah.
but two of the three were leaving, and it's like, got to go over there. But so I originally left North Star for Northwest for band. And then as the year went on, I went to more things. But no, I went to Northwest for band.
So you talked about band. What role do you have in band? I don't say just what instrument, but what role or instrument do you do in band?
Well, so this coming up year, I am all brass section leader, so high and low brass section leader.
Okay.
I'm a trumpet player. I've been playing the trumpet since 5th grade. Unfortunately, this coming up year, I will not be playing the trumpet. I'm going to the French horn section or marching mellophones.
Okay.
Because we don't have the leadership for that section. It'll be 3 sophomores need leadership, and I can play the French horn, so why not? But yeah, I'm all things brass.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, Harrison, I'm sitting there, it's like, okay, you just making that switch. We were talking about like somebody making a position switch. You're like, I'm gonna go there for leadership and I can play that. So who got you or what got you interested in music? And especially you said you've been playing the trumpet since 5th grade. Was that family? Was it something you saw on TV?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
My mom is a singer. She's a big singer. My
Mm.
dad is a pastor. So none of that came from my parents. And when I first got to middle school, because in Mississippi, middle school starts 5th grade.
Okay.
So I would get off of the elementary bus, and this girl, she was in the middle school band, because middle schools in Mississippi have a football team and they have their own pet band for the football teams.
Oh wow.
So so this girl, I think she was in 7th grade at the time, she would come home and she would wait for the elementary bus to get there, because the middle school bus would get there before the elementary bus. She had a little brother that rode with her. So when we would get off, she would be by the pool playing her trumpet. And she was an amazing player. And I just remember one day she let me play her trumpet, because I don't know, it's always been something about the trumpet. Like, I've always seen something in the trumpet and I was like, I want to do that. But no, so she let me play her trumpet, and then I got there the next year. She had told the band director about me. So when the time came where the band director was just like allowing us to test out all the instruments and figure out what we wanted to play, when she brought that trumpet out, it was like, that's the one. Played it, flying colors. She was like, you're a trumpet player. And then from that, I've just been playing the trumpet ever since.
Wow, that's a phenomenal story when you talk about just the relationships and the rapport, how it just happened at a bus stop and kind of that overlap, and taking advantage of that opportunity and that experience. You talked about your mom and your dad real quick. Give them a shout out by name and anybody else that's in your family.
So hi mom. My mom's name is Jennifer. My dad unfortunately is at work in Virginia right now. Hi Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just my mom and my sisters and myself.
Awesome. Don't want to name the sisters by name?
They don't like publicity, but hi Shayla and Brayla.
There you go.
They're
Thank
my
you.
twin sisters.
Hey, see, we appreciate the fact that, like I said, you started with moms. We've had some individuals get on here and forget like moms. And so like Harrison and I, like when that happens, we go and lock the door real quick because we think they're going to kind of like roll in.
No, my mom's my biggest supporter. Like, even if she has to work, if I can't get somewhere, she's calling around. She's like calling Uber. She's getting me to that place that I need to be. Like, my mom is my biggest supporter.
Awesome. Fantastic. Always hearing, we keep hearing that. John, tell us a little bit about, so you have individuals like Amari, you know, in this, and you knew some of the individuals as she was coming over because the school was unique. It wasn't just all like, you know, people could transfer in and people could, you know, permit, but there was also people in the neighborhood. What was it like building a program, and what is it like with individuals like Amari? Like, what do you, when you got that, you know, you got her coming in and she's playing the trumpet, how'd you get her in like musicals and choir?
Right. So when I started at Northwest a year ago at this time, we had right around 9 kids signed up for show choir camp.
Hang on, you said how many? You said
9, and we had 9 kids show up to our very
so
first
how
show
many do
choir
you
camp.
need for those that aren't familiar with like a show choir? Like, how many do you need?
So to have a smaller show choir that's competitive, you need right around 30.
Oh, okay. So it can't be like New Edition.
Right.
Right. Like you said 9. I was like, somebody in the group's got to get cut. I mean, Bobby, you got to go. So we're making cuts right there. So you need to have 30 and you had 9.
And we had 9. And so we were like, where are we going to get these kids? How are we going to get them excited about music? And kind of the fun thing about Northwest is show choir is relatively unknown on the northwestern side of town.
Okay.
Other schools will have, North Star had a beautiful choreographed choir, but they didn't go and do competitive show choir.
Okay.
So it was new to the area. As to East Lincoln, Lincoln East has had a great competitive show choir for a lot of years. And so has Southwest High School.
Okay.
And so we were trying to build something that was new up in an area where students hadn't really seen what show choir was about, but they had kind of heard the wonderful things that happen once you're in a competitive show choir. And so I went to band camp, and I'll never forget that day I went to band camp. and I played trumpet as well. And so I brought my trumpet, and I was sitting in with the band camp, and they were doing Encanto for their marching band show. And these students started singing this music beautifully, and they were so excited about singing. And I asked Amari on that day, you should be in show choir. You need to do our musical. And she goes, oh, I'm not a singer. I don't think that's something.
She talked about her mom being a phenomenal singer. So that's why I just like, when she just said, I'm not a singer, like had that in her household. So the fact that you picked up on that.
And I could hear her singing. I could hear a couple of other students singing. And I told them all, you need to come over and be in choir. You could do choir and band. And so then word of mouth kind of got out. They started looking at YouTube videos of what show choir was. They had all seen, when they were really little, the show Glee. And then they helped me in the hallways at Northwest ask kids to be in show choir. And so everyone that would walk through the hallways, I just said, hey, you should come sing. Because I have this firm belief that everyone can sing. Maybe not well, but music is for everyone, and that everyone can make music. And so I would hand out tickets to come to the show choir audition. And so just giving a kid a piece of paper that said, you're invited, you need to come be a part of something, meant the world to them. And I'll never forget one of the first rehearsals we had, a kid showed up and he had the ticket. And I said, you came to the show choir practice. Well, yeah, you told me to, and you gave this to me. You know, and it was just this small little piece of paper that said, come and be a part of something like this. And then it took off. We have a lot of kids, over 40, close to 50, who are wanting to be involved in choir next year. We had 30 in the musical. And I think it's just going to continue to grow because the kids like the music that's happening with projects like that.
You know, that's an awesome segue. And I liked how you threw the ticket piece in there. So, you know, when you want to be part of the ticket, I right there, we're going to talk to DP, Rico, Harrison. I think we need to go around town and just go ahead and hand people, you know, a ticket.
Seems effective.
Yeah, to be a part of it. But, you know, I think that fact, like you said, you grow from 9 to needing, you know, you had 9 and you needed 30, and recognize of going out, building rapport, building relationships, identifying talents and strengths that individuals already had that they may not have seen in themselves. After we get back from a break, Amari, I'm going to ask you, like, you know, what attracted you to this? And then what did you see in, you know, John here that you were just like, you know, Mr. Marquez, like, man, I want to be a part of this. So after our break, we'll be back with 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score.
If you struggle with joint pain, there's good news. You don't need surgery to get back to full health. South Point Medical and Aesthetics offers breakthrough non-surgical options for treatment of moderate to severe joint pain. Our patients experience little to no downtime from our procedures, and the results are remarkable. They've had team successful treatment with patients from 35 states because of an effective word-of-mouth traffic. Learn more about how you can get lasting results for today at southpointmedical.com or call 402-323-8400.
Hi, it's Lori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. Your honesty, that part of your life, gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs. I see a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Own Credit is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon-wrapped dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon-wrapped dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between, capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Own Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People's City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. we will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcnlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
Their age?
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn by at IamHungerInAmerica.org. By Feed America, 200 food banks strong. Ad Council.
Don't let biased algorithms or degree screens or exclusive professional networks or stereotypes. Don't let anything keep you from discovering that half of the workforce were stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time to tear the paper ceiling and see the stars beyond it. Find out how you can make stars part of your talent strategy at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. By Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. Peter Ferguson, and joined on the board with Harrison here. So again, having a phenomenal show. If you want to get involved, come to the Honda of Lincoln hotline at 464-5685 or the Sartor Heyman text line, and love to hear from you. Kind of ended our conversation right before the break with John talking about just that upgrade from, going from 9 to needing 30. And John, real quickly, so what's your numbers like right now? I know you said it before, but you're anticipating, you said
we're right around 50 for the
Okay.
whole department, and we'll probably for the whole choir department, and we'll probably go higher than that. My goal is to get 70 kids involved this year, and to get them pumped up about choir.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. So if you're out there listening, you're going to Northwest High School, those tickets can still be punched
Absolutely.
by heading over and find Mr. Marquez. Amari, now I loved it. In fact, you grabbed your chest when I said New Edition right off the bat. You said that was your favorite group. Tell me, what is your favorite New Edition track?
My favorite New Edition would either be Not My Kind of Girl or Boyz II Men.
Ooh, that one got me right, because a lot of people will say, "Can You Stand the Rain?"
Oh no, that's too common. It's too
Oh,
common.
okay. Thank you. That Boyz II Men, if you have not heard that track right there, but the
You're
way it
missing
starts
out.
out, that you got, you got me right there.
No,
You got
shout
me
out
right.
Johnny Gill. That, oh my goodness.
The best edition right there. The best edition ever was Johnny Gill, hands down. We're gonna go off another rabbit trail. AD Raft. If you listen to AD and Raft, the drive, they sit there and they talking about Chris Raft likes to sing. Chris Raft ain't no Johnny Gill. Okay, so just watch out. We'll go ahead and play him a track so he can practice on it. But before the break, I said we wanted to ask you, like you said, obviously you had some teachers go to Northwest, but what makes Northwest special? And Mr. Marquez, like reaching out to you and wanting you to be a part of what he has going on. What drew you and said, you know what? Okay, I can trust this. I can trust him. What was it?
Well, so he talked about how he came to our band camp. So this year band was just like a little bit over 20 people.
Okay.
There were 5 juniors, one of them being an exchange student from Spain. It was really small, but it takes a lot for someone to come in and sit in with kids that are obviously really rowdy. It's the summertime, it's hot. We're excited because the Encanto movie just came out and now we're playing this music, and it takes a lot for someone to sit there while rowdy children are singing this big song, screaming from the top of their lungs or whatever, and to just sit there and enjoy it and play with us, because we were struggling during band camp. Like we were struggling, and I know with someone that has as much experience on the trumpet as Marquez does, to just sit there and listen to that, because I know me as a trumpet player, I'm very critical of how I play, and if something doesn't sound right to me, it gets in my head. I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to this anymore. It has to go. But it takes a lot. So that patience is the patience that he has really was like, yeah, I'm going to like this dude. And then school year started. After school, I would stay after school because it's like something that I was used to because I did theater at North Star. So I was used to not being able to go home right after school. So I would go into the choir room. He was there with 2 of my best friends now, Maggie and Alex, and they were doing like vocal warm-ups. He was like, let's test your range. Because I went into the school year, I claimed myself being an alto. I was like, that's where I'm at. That is where I will stay. And so he was like, playing, and he's like, sing this, and it was like up there.
Wow.
And I did it, and he's like, you're a soprano 1, and I'm like, no, I am not a soprano 1. Lo and behold, that is where I am comfortable at.
See, they always end up, seeing things in ourselves sometimes we don't see that we don't see in us. And I want to make sure we get to this before we run out of time. Mr. Marquez, John, tell me about this young lady, because she's going to be humble. She's gotten some recognition, and it just happened in June that she got to participate in some things. And you had reached out to me and like, man, this is really awesome. Tell me what she earned, because it wasn't what she received, it's what she earned. And when you look at her and you've engaged with her, what are some characteristics that you see in her that you're like, this is what would it be the embodiment of, this is why this is Northwest?
Well, what comes to mind first and foremost is humble. Humble almost to, it's just, Amari is so talented, but she'll be the last one to tell you about her accomplishments and how talented she is. The award that she won was the Outstanding Lead in a Musical for the Nebraska Theater Awards. And they go to over, I think it's 200 high schools in Nebraska participate in this. And then they pick the top 10 female vocalists and the top 10 male vocalists. And Amari was one of the top 10 female vocalists. And she got to go to the Orpheum Theater and sing with the other top 10 for an entire week. And then I got to showcase the show at the Orpheum at the beginning of this month. And it was just such a high honor for these judges to go into high school musicals and to pick out the talent. Wow. And so when Amari and I first started singing together, I was noodling on the piano. I was playing Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John.
Okay.
And she goes, I like that song. And I said, well, come over and sing it with me. And so we start singing, and I just hear this incredible voice that has a lot of potential. I can tell that there's going to be a lot of power in her voice. And so we start testing her range, and we start seeing where she's going to be able to go. And I knew from the very first moment I heard her sing that she really had a special gift. And Northwest is full. I think Amari would agree as well, of just this natural raw talent. I don't know if it's something in the water that is up there, but we just have a lot of students who have so much natural talent. And I think they love music so much. They feel safe in the environment that we've created, and they've just decided to take off with their singing.
Wow. Go ahead, Amari. You had something you want to say.
Oh, look, Elton John he's amazing. So when Marquez started playing that song, it's like, it was there. And I remember Marquez being like, okay, you have a big voice. I can tell you need to sing out. You need to project. And it's like, I'm trying.
Is it-
No, but we would sing that. We'd sing Mulan, I believe it was. I think it was Reflection.
Wow.
No, and then I started singing these songs, and he's like, "Take this home, learn it." And I would like listen to these songs and repeat, and I'm like, I'm gonna be able to do this. I'm gonna be good at it.
So let me ask you if we can give those that are listening a treat, and I know I'm putting you on the spot. Would you be willing to sing just a snippet of something, one of your favorites, so people can hear your voice that haven't gotten the opportunity to?
Oh my god.
What if you did a little bit of the "I Will Always Love You"?
Oh. And I will always love you. I will always love you. And I will always love you. I will always love you.
Wow. Wow. Hey, right there. Like I said, I keep referring to our morning show. The last week, we've had an individual. He's been out of town, and he's come in hot every time when he's come in. Right? If they came in hot like that, bad without question. That is absolutely phenomenal. And a treat for Sunday Harrison.
Yeah, I don't even want to hit the. We have to, but I don't really want to hit the out music right now because it kind of feels disrespectful. But we're gonna start wrapping things up.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Hey, without Amari, thank you for coming, John. With it, Mr. Marquez. Without question, I don't even know a better way to wrap up. But I always try to just give a closing statement. Hey, I saw this online. Make sure you tip your server. Return your shopping cart. Pick up a piece of trash. Hold the doors open for the person behind you. Let someone into your lane. Small acts have a ripple effect, and that's not only how we change the world, but that's how we change the community we live in, and both of you are doing that. So thanks for tuning in every Sunday, 8 a.m., 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.